As you can see, I picked up a small 100-watt solar kit, just 4 panels, 25 watts each panel. I did pick up a 3,000-watt inverter, though, and a couple batteries. They're 35 amp-hour batteries. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a small solar system right now to run my space. The majority of the things in my tiny space are going to be 12-volt anyways, so I really don't need an inverter too much. With the exception of I'm going to bring my big TV from my shop in the tiny space. Plus I'll have a laptop and a few other things that will need some 110, but the majority of the lights and everything else are actually going to be 12 volt, just simply because of ease of use as well as cost effectiveness and different things like that we'll talk about later. You know, obviously licensing, you have to be a licensed electrician to build tiny homes and do regular house wiring. Plus this is about off-grid living and eco and smart stuff, so 12 volts really the way to go. I don't know why we aren't powering houses with 12 volts as it is now, because the technology is there. It's so much simpler to operate. You know, you can make batteries and create energy, 12 volt energy, much simpler than you can all this major power that they're running to people's houses and these, you know, 100 kilowatt power lines or whatever they are running, you know, all over the countryside and stuff like that. So this time lapse is just going to be me putting together this solar system. I'm going to try to beat the sunlight today, get it up, that way I can have it charging tomorrow. And you know, it came with 2 12 volt lights and a, you know, a couple plugs. But obviously I'm going to convert some stuff with my inverter for 110, but you know, the majority of the lights and things like that, I've got a few more parts to order, switch panels and some wiring and things like that to do the majority of the lights, the interior of the living space, as well as the shop side on the back side as well. So stay tuned and we'll be back. Thanks. So as I conclude this video on solar, I'm going to give you a brief rundown on some of my philosophies and ideas and things that I'm thinking. Obviously, my plan is to start to build tiny homes. I'm going to do that on a scale that's, they're all 12 volt based, which I think is probably the way of the future. It's a much more efficient way to gather energy, and from what I've seen so far, all the components that go into it that I found that are 12 volt based are much more cost effective. Ultimately, no matter what income bracket you're in, this can be a considerably affordable way to live. And I believe that some of my concepts and philosophies can even be applied to impoverished countries and places that are third world and that don't have access to some of the things that we have, the right amount of investors or money or, charities or whatever it may be. I think we can get solar power to those types of countries and stuff, and help people in need considerably from these concepts. So that being said, so yes, so that's the big secret, I guess, if you will. My theories and things that I want to share with everybody. I'm not greedy. Obviously, I'm not trying to make $1 billion off of this policy or this philosophy. Clearly there are other people that may have these ideas and stuff like that, but I spent a considerable part of my life in the 12 volt audio industry and car audio and things like that. Also have an extensive background with cars and those sorts of things. So that's where my theory has come into play, is because when I started researching solar and stuff like that, started looking into the technology, I saw obviously that the panels came 12 volt, 48 volt, and so on and so forth, or you could series them together, get whatever voltage you wanted. But a lot of times they require excuse me, inverters and things to convert from the 12 volt or 48 volt or whatever system you have to standard power voltage, 110, 120 volts and 240 volts, things of that nature. However, it's my idea and my philosophy that if you eliminate the need for the 120 volts, i.e., for example, the large majority of your electronics components that you have what they call step-down transformers, where the little black box that comes on your power cord is what converts it from 120 volts and steps it down to a 12 volt or a low voltage signal that your electronics and other devices you actually use for the input. So if we eliminate those step-down transformers and the need for the big voltage and all that, then it's going to drop the cost considerably and make it much more affordable for the average person to do this on their own, as well as to afford it, especially in today's economy and the way things are right now. I think this is something that's much needed. Big industry had its place. So we went through the industrial age, or the industrial era, where big industry took over, and it was become a very important part of our history and what we've gone through and what we've done. But I think now we need to step back a little bit and rethink those things. There's still a need, obviously, for the big power and the big industry and all the stuff that has created. However, I think that we can use it much less and depend on it much less. And, us as a whole, as a human race, we can, downsize our lives, essentially. I've decided to move it into a tiny house, minimize the stuff that I have, stop being such a consumer and just needing and having all the stuff that that we think we need to have. Living more simply, I guess. But I think that this philosophy is going to help us dramatically in the days and years to come, to maybe make it easier on people that are having a tough time trying to pay electric bills and some of the other things, or even, like I said, third world countries and impoverished places where we get this technology out there, and it makes the availability to give something to people that they need, that they're not able to have because of the cost. I think this will make it much easier for people to live more comfortably and afford a better lifestyle, if you will, just because they're living simply, not stressing to have to pay for bills and things of the nature, or even consuming some of these big electronics that really, in my mind, probably shouldn't cost as much as they do. But, it's a state of consumerism in the world right now, and, hopefully we can all get to a place where we live simply and don't take more than what we need, and, I think that the world will pay us back for that. And hopefully that you know, you guys can learn something from what I'm trying to teach or trying to share, and I hope you guys appreciate, you know, I guess essentially my art, or the, you know, my philosophies and the things that I'm putting out there. And you know, stay tuned. My tiny house will be soon. The reveal. I have you know, a few more things to build out in it. I'm currently building out my indoor bathroom right now. As well as making some other modifications, making some changes, as I've lived in it for about 6 months and meditated on it. I've kind of decided the direction that I want to go with my tiny space, you know, develop that idea, if you will. But again, thank you all for watching. Please, you know, like, comment, share, you know, and subscribe. You know, it's much appreciated and much needed. You know, questions or anything you may have, please put them in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them for you. I also have my contact info in there as well, so that you can email me, or you know, find out more information if you're interested in renting one of these tiny houses, or even possibly having me build one for you. You know, I'd be glad to do it, and we'll go from there. I look forward to seeing you guys all in the future. We'll talk to you soon.